Yep.
Check and make sure that it's actually. Yep, it's up and running. All right, we're live.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm back again.
All right, everyone's familiar with Sin by this point. This is just a BS session with me and Sin. No particular topic or anything like that. We're just gonna be BSing around about random stuff. I already had my serious, heavy episode earlier today. This is more of a relaxing episode. All trying me to pull me out of my funk and also help alleviate some of Sin's stresses. So.
I've been too serious this week. I've
Sin
gotten
being
into
serious,
fights
that's not okay.
over stupid shit.
You got into fights over what?
I've gotten into fights over stupid shit that
Eh.
really never bothers me, but
Yeah. I feel you. Every once in a while, you just get to the point of, like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not moving a goddamn inch.
yeah, and I got in an argument with my 11-year-old nephew for no damn reason. It was funny. Like, if someone was recording that shit, I could probably make money off of it. Is how funny it was.
Oh, wow.
To see a grown ass, big bearded man, an 11-year-old preteen who thinks he runs the place. Those moments are classic. You
Yeah.
should record those.
Always record that shit. But
especially to hear the preteen's responses. That's always the best part for me. It's always funny. I even found that funny when I was a preteen. Dude, you don't know what the shit you're talking about.
right. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So, you wanted to talk a bit about Doki Doki?
Oh, yeah. For anyone who's not familiar with it, Doki Doki Literature Club is actually a horror game on Steam. It's free. I highly recommend anyone go and play it as long as you're not easily disturbed or anything like that. Like, they actually have the disclaimer pop up multiple times on it, and for good reason. But the story itself is absolutely fantastic. The music's good. The characters are endearing. The story is interesting, to say the least. I highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't played it. Definitely play it before you watch any videos on it, because there's really not much that can be said without spoilers. To be perfectly honest, because the story is just so involved from beginning to end. But yeah, no. One thing I will say is the game is very meta. But it's meta in a good way, and so it just adds to the factor of horror on it. So, it's kind of interesting shit. But I highly recommend it to anybody. Sin just went ahead and downloaded it, and he's gonna play it. So.
Yeah, on your recommendation, multiple of.
Yeah.
Every single time we get in a call, even off this stuff, it's just like Doki Doki.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it's one of those games that I really think that just about everybody needs to play. It's that freaking good. Like, even if you're not a gamer. Like, even if you just download Steam to download that game, play it, and then uninstall Steam. You know, it's that good of a game. It's one of those things, you need this in your life.
There is one thing I am pretty excited about with Steam. There's a lot of cool free games on it, though.
Yeah, there are, but the thing is what concerns me about free games is the whole pay-to-win aspect. Hey, NYC, how's it going?
You must play different ones than I do, because I mostly just download the single-player ones, because I already know how the free-to-play multiverse thing goes, you know?
Yeah. Like, the only free-to-play game that I can recommend that actually has microtransactions in it is Warframe. To be perfectly honest.
The only game that I play and it's a cell phone game, is that Guns of Glory game, which I kind of need to real quick look and see if I'm being invaded.
Uh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna load
see,
it up and look at it.
I don't play games like that. Those games just piss me the fuck off, and oh. Like those games are basically the epitome of everything that I hate about free to play.
Yeah, this one though you can do pretty decent without having to actually spend anything.
Yeah,
So
but the
like
thing is if someone does spend shit, then you just get raffle stomped, and that's where I'm like, yeah, fuck that noise.
Well, the cool thing about it is I've learned how to basically. I have become rather persuasive of the higher powers to allow me into their inner circle. Like right now, my castle's only a C15, and there's people on here that are like in the 30s, and I'm kind of in good with most all of them.
Yeah.
So.
But you see, the thing is, I don't like games where you have to do that shit. I really don't like games where you have to do that shit. Where it's all like, if you're gonna play single player, if you're gonna play the game free to play and that sort of thing, you have to sit there and get with people that are either pay to winners or no lifers to be able to survive, to be able to get anything done. I absolutely hate that in games. I'm all like, really? I'm not playing this game to be reliant on other people.
I mean, what's cool about it is you can share your resources if you join an alliance, though.
Yeah.
Which most of the higher guys do. So basically, I went from being a C1 castle all the way to being a C15 just today. I just upgraded my castle in about 2 weeks. But that's because it takes like 40 million. Well, not 40 million. What am I talking about? That's a lot. 4 million food and 4 million wood. And then like 200,000 coal. Just to no, it's not coal, it's iron. It looks like coal.
Yeah, anyhow.
They picked the worst. It takes a lot to get to certain levels. They kind of made it where you have to work to do it.
Well, you see, I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is they have you go through work and do all that shit to upgrade your shit, and then they're all like, oh yeah, you have to wait while it upgrades. And by the way, while this is upgrading for over the next, 24 hours, you can't you can't really do anything else. And that's the sort of shit that pisses me off. I mean, as far as like upgrading other shit in there, like limited upgrade slots.
Well, yeah, there is a limited. It's limited to one for everybody, but but there's a chance of drawing a extra hammer to do the work, extra construction crew.
Yeah,
and you can get gold rather regularly as well. Like, they just give the gold out, but if you buy it, you get the gold quicker.
Yeah,
that's really the only difference.
Yeah, I still.
And it's relatively cheap to get the gold, actually. I don't mean money-wise. I mean, it's like, if someone does an amazing thing in the alliance you're in, basically what will happen is they can send a chest out and everybody gets a bit of gold.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I don't like those types of games. Not to mention, it's one of those things where it's all like. Also, when you sit there and you get all this shit going, and then you have to set down the game, and then you have to remember to come back to it, or it sits there and starts pestering you constantly. Pinging your notifications, and it's like, dude, stop, just stop. That's actually one of the things that got me to stop playing SAO.
Yeah. Oh, the thing that you were like really trying to get me to play.
Mm-hmm. I stopped playing SAO because it just got to the point where not only were they having it where you were having to be reliant on people to get anything done, really, as far as the events were concerned, but also at the same time, it was all like, they just keep releasing event after event after event, and they don't give you enough opportunities to gain crystals. And so at that point, it just gets really fucking frustrating. especially if you have
Yeah,
to get like 2 or 3 of the same character to unlock something.
to be honest, there was two reasons I didn't like that game. One, it was gimmicky because it was playing off of SAO, the show, and
Well,
the
I actually liked that aspect about it because it also let them expand on it, and
right, but
I thought that was interesting anyway.
right, and then the second reason was basically what you were saying. I also kept accidentally using the crystals when I didn't want to because they would pop up on screen, and I would go to like upgrade something, and I would go to upgrade it the regular way, and then it would have me use the crystals because my finger is big.
Oh, I never had that issue, but I also have a big ass motherfucking phone, so not much of an
Yeah,
issue there. But
mine's like a regular size Samsung 7, so
oh shit, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I have a Samsung S8 Plus,
yeah,
so
that would be much bigger than mine. Yes.
yeah, so it's just one of those situations of like I absolutely loved the actual combat mechanic in it. I think it flowed very well. Um,
Right.
and I think that a lot of the characters were actually unique with their abilities, which is kind of rare to see in a game like that. But it's just
Right.
the freemium market was not conducive to long-term gameplay.
Right. And that's usually the problem you have with almost any cell phone game, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why in the gaming community, I hear a lot of people saying, stop trying to bring mobile games to PC. It's not going to happen because PC players aren't willing to deal with that bullshit. It's all like
Like
you're
the
willing to
only
deal with it on mobile because of the limitations of the phones. But even now, that people are showing that the limitation of the phone isn't what we thought it was, and so they're starting to bring higher quality games in. But I don't like playing games on the phone because typically I don't like the controls.
right.
Like
And they
I'm all
come out
like,
with
if I'm
for
playing something like that, you guys need to bring out some sort of like mini controller or something like that. You know?
that's what I was about to say. They're gonna come out with a mini wireless controller that doesn't run on batteries. It charges as your phone charges or something.
Yeah. Or maybe a case or something like that where you can flip out the handles and the stuff, kind of like the old Sony the Sony Vita
Yeah.
phone. I
Right.
absolutely loved that phone. That was to this day the best gaming phone I ever had because it was one of those side slider phones, but
Right.
instead of having the keyboard, it had a actual PlayStation controller setup,
Right.
and it also had the shoulder buttons.
I'm kind of wait. I swear, if they actually come out with these little controllers that I just suggested, they better pay me royalties because I just announced it on stream before they ever did shit with it.
Yeah, but I mean, like honestly, I wish that they would actually make some dedicated gaming phones. Where
Right.
it's phones that are more based off of gaming than anything else. I mean, why in the fuck aren't they doing it? It's not like that shit
Yeah.
wouldn't sell gangbusters
Yeah.
because it would still have all the functionality of the others, but it would have, beefed up hardware.
Right. Um. So as far as games, I've tried to play Warframe. I think I've run into a glitch
All right,
that I can't get past.
what's the glitch?
I completed the first story mission. I think I completed it rather quicker than it expected or something. But apparently I missed something in one of the levels, and now I can't get back in.
What do you mean you missed one of the things in what?
It would be easier to explain if I could actually get onto my Xbox One and look at it,
Oh,
but it's like apparently there was something I was supposed to do in that story, but I already killed the main boss of that first story mission, and now it won't let me in. It won't let me back into the mission list for it.
oh, okay. You should be able to go to the missions
I
and have
did.
it
I
automatically.
went to the I tried, but whenever I click on the little basically, I think it's basically set up the same way. But I went to the mission thing, the little log where you go to start them, and then I went to I clicked on the first story mission layout thing. Well, it won't let me go back into that because it says it's completed, but it won't let me move on. So
Okay.
basically, the first story mission tab is locked for some damn reason. So I don't know. I think I just have a glitch where I should just undownload the game and then, uninstall it, then re-download it, and it might fix it.
I doubt it on that. Have you tried playing through other missions?
It won't let me go to any other missions until I get the thing I am lacking from one of the missions in the first story.
Okay, that's weird. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, I'm one of those weird people that's either overthinking it. I have a feeling I'm overthinking it, and it's quite simple, and I have the object, I just can't figure out how to do it, which I will talk about it with you later.
Wait, are you talking about Vor and the thing you put on your ankle? Are you talking about the thing that's used to remove that?
I think so. It said something about like some kind of module or something, I think.
Yeah, all right. You have to go into your crafting station, and there should be a blueprint in there. You craft that thing,
Yeah,
and then it'll take that off.
That. Well,
and it won't let you move on until you do that.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to do it, and then it just
you just look for the blueprint in there. I forget what exactly it's called, but yeah, you have to look for the blueprint. But no, like as far as Warframe's concerned, the thing I like about Warframe, like I said, is the microtransactions are fair, I should say. Because the thing is, you can buy like the base Warframes and all that, but you can't really buy the Prime Warframes. You actually have to farm for those and that sort of thing, and it actually takes some effort.
Right.
And then they also vault some and that sort of thing, which also helps the internal platinum economy in the trade chat. So that's nifty.
That's one thing I haven't tried to do is mess with trade chat.
Don't mess with trade chat right off the bat. Trade chat's one of those things until you're like midway through the game. It's pretty much pointless for you.
Hello, Turbattle.
Hey, Turbattle, how's it going?
I don't actually think Korean MGTOW is currently in here. I think I only see 3 watching, unless it hasn't picked you up yet. He popped in, said hi, and then I think he kind of left when we started talking about Doki Doki.
Yeah. But, nah, Doki Doki's such a good game. Such a great narrative.
Well, until I actually play it, I'll just take your word.
Yeah. But
not much to battle. What we're basically doing is he needs a uplifter and I need a stress break.
Yeah. Basically, this is kind of a BS. It's just a BS session. Feel free to join in the chat, man. I mean, we're paying attention to the chat, so.
Yeah, we're basically just trying to have a chill kind of thing because he's really been hitting the heavy stuff almost as much as I have here recently.
And so this is just kind of a burn off session.
Yeah, it's basically trying to prove we're still human.
Yeah. Actually have some enjoyment in our lives for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, go ahead, Ryu. You had something to.
No. As far as Warframe is concerned, like I really like the game. I mean, right now I'm playing Ark because Aberration just dropped, but
Yeah, I can't get Apparition yet because I don't have any money.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I just happened
When
to
I
have
start
the money
getting,
for it,
yeah,
so
I kind of
it's
just. Ooh,
what?
wow. Okay, I might actually try to go to the marketplace because I sort of playing. I'm sort of opened up Warframe because you talked about it, and I kind of wanted to see if I could go ahead and get that damn thing done.
Yeah,
So I could move on later. And it did that random roulette thing it does
and it gave you
when you
platinum.
log on. No, it gave me 50% off market purchase.
Oh, nice, very nice. Hey,
Yeah,
Malcolm,
so
how's
I
it
might
going?
might do that.
But
Apparently, Borrow is back, and I think I said his name wrong. It's like Barrow Ketir.
oh, Baroque Katir.
Yeah, he's back apparently.
Yeah, he comes every second Friday. He's the one that you spend ducats to get primed mods.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense. Okay, I'm gonna go see if I can do that thing real quick. Hey, Malcolm.
Yeah, this is kind of just a BS stream, Malcolm, where we're just BSing about random stuff, just having kind of a burn off cool down session. Feel free to
Yeah.
join in if you want.
So what is that thing called?
I don't
Uh,
remember what it's called, dude. That's from so long ago.
uh, the Ascaris Negator.
Yes. It should
Okay.
take 1 minute to craft or something like that.
Apparently, I already own one, but I have an extra blueprint.
Well, it's not an extra blueprint, it's a reusable blueprint. It never actually goes away.
Okay, well then, how do I use that damn thing so I can advance?
You should have used it as soon as you claimed it.
Oh, well, is there a way to get to it in the menu, like equipment?
No?
Well, damn, I'm just gonna go ahead and make another one and see if I can freaking.
Try it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's hyper expensive to make.
Yeah. It says it's like 600 of those little credit things.
Yeah, 600
Holy
credits.
shit, I have a lot of credits. I
Yeah.
have 48,000.
Good lord.
Holy shit, what did I do to get all this?
I have no clue. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, nah, like, I thought it was funny that people were sitting there and they kept telling me I needed to play Doki Doki. I needed to play Doki Doki. And so I went ahead, I played it, and now I'm telling everyone, you need to play Doki Doki. I find it a little ironic.
Yeah.
Because I played it more out of a sense of, alright, just to get you guys to shut up.
Yeah.
And now I'm all like, okay, I can see why they didn't shut up about it. All right.
It's okay to shut up until I play it, then we don't shut up about it.
Well, no, I mean, I wasn't expecting the game to be that freaking good. I really wasn't.
I was just making a joke.
I mean,
I'm trying to.
I was expecting
Yeah.
the game to be more of those things that just absolutely takes the piss out of dating sims. And
Right.
I'm all like, you know what? There's already so many people taking the piss out of dating sims. Why in the fuck am I gonna sit there and play this game in particular?
Right.
And
I
then,
have a question. What would you recommend buying as far as a frame?
as far as a frame, I wouldn't recommend buying any of them.
Okay. So I can basically just get all of them at random.
Yeah, you can actually end up farming. Like as you progress through the game, you can actually end up farming
Right.
different frames, the blueprints for them, and then
Okay.
build them. Hero Coliseum. What's Hero Coliseum about, Malcolm?
Yeah, I kind of forgot what it was about too.
Is it a mobile game or? Or what? But yeah, no, I'm thinking about going through and playing Doki Doki again.
I'll probably play it after we get off stream.
For Xenoverse 2 for the PS4. Oh, okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not fully up to speed on console gaming because right now I don't have a console to play, so I figure why torture myself.
I know what he's talking about.
Oh, well then, you and Sin can have that combo.
Oh, wow, I could get a 3-day resource boost for 26 of those little platinum things.
Don't spend your platinum on anything other than either weapon slots or Warframe slots. I'm just going to say that right now, unless you're planning on buying some platinum.
Yeah, I still got the 50 I started out with.
Yeah, I'm just saying, don't tap into that 50. That 50 should be earmarked strictly for extra weapon slots and for Warframe slots.
I will say there is one thing that annoys the ever-living fire out of me on here.
What?
I can't figure out how to make the chat freaking disappear. Like, that is one thing I wish I could do, is just, like, everybody shut up.
Yeah, I on mine, I have it where it's all like, as soon as I click out of it, it's basically gone.
Yeah, but I'm playing on consoles. So.
Yeah, I know.
It's just all these people talking are very distracting.
Yeah.
I see it moving and I want to look at it.
Yeah. And it never stops. It constantly moves. Duel Links.
Oh, I think I know. I think Duel Links is that Yu-Gi-Oh card battle thing.
Ah, nice. Yeah, I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh in forever.
Yeah, I have it on my phone, but it's not, for me, it's not really that fun because all you do is stick in one town or you go into a teleport gate, which are guarded by the characters of the show. Okay. And then basically you duel them and you slowly gain decks. You can make custom decks if you know what you're doing. And then
but unfortunately, they don't have the malleability of the rules of the actual card game, unfortunately.
If I remember correctly, this game is pretty close to them. Not completely, but close.
Yeah. Well, like for example, like I actually had a deck back in the day where it was actually based around Magnet Warrior.
Right.
It was actually a Magnet Warrior deck, and it was actually geared to get not only the Magnet Warrior fusion card out, but also all 3 of the regular Magnet Warriors in 3 turns or less.
Right.
And so it was kind of insane as far as that went.
Should I buy a Warframe slot because I only got one?
If you have a Warframe that you need a slot for.
Well, I don't have one yet. I just was wondering for future.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, eventually you're going to end up wanting to spend at least a little bit of money into the game just to get yourself a few extra Warframe slots. Because having to give up Warframes sucks.
Right. Like, right now, I am using Mag.
Keep Mag. Definitely keep Mag.
I love Mag. Mag's great.
Yeah.
That's the one I started off with.
Well, Mag's one of the ones that, like, later on in the game gets insanely good.
Like, he's pretty good right now. All I have to do is keep on the move, like, heavily, but
yeah,
I've actually gotten pretty good with
it. But that's just the game in general. I mean, honestly, in the game, typically standing still is a death sentence.
Right.
I mean, there's a reason why they focus so heavily on the movement mechanics.
Right. I'm gonna go ahead and buy a Warframe slot. That way I have 2.
Yeah.
Like, that shouldn't be a major dent to me.
Yeah, no. And you were going to end up buying a Warframe slot anyway.
Yeah. So there we go.
And while you're at it, I'd probably go ahead and buy the 2 weapon slot thing too, so you have room for some extra weapons.
Oh, okay. Let me look into it. Because all I did was go to my equipment and then inventory. So, yeah. Oh, wait. No, I'm not going to buy a weapon slot because I got like 5 open there for some damn reason.
Oh, Malcolm, that sucks about your Red Eyes Black Dragon.
What happened?
His Red Eyes Black Dragon mysteriously vanished. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had several decks that I ran with Yu-Gi-Oh. One was the Magnet Warrior. The other one was the was my wall deck.
Right.
And that one gave people fits, absolute fits. Because with my wall deck, it was basically a defensive deck that basically made you damage yourself anytime you tried to do anything to me. Whether it was through magic casting, traps, or whatever, it didn't matter. You always got caught up in something.
Right.
That was a fun deck.
That would drive me nuts.
What, my deck?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually that deck ended up getting banned in a local tournament. They said I wasn't allowed to bring it back.
Yeah, I can see why.
And well, because the thing is people would pull out Blue Eyes White Dragon. I mean, hell, it actually stood up. It was my only deck that could stand up to Jinzo.
Yeah, I have a Jinzo deck that I personally made.
I fucking hate Jinzo. I fucking hate that card.
Jinzo.
That card is actually what got me to quit playing Yu-Gi-Oh! That one card.
For me, it doesn't. Hold on.
Because I mean, the only way you can actually get rid of that card is to banish it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is
that's only if you have all the other stuff with it.
No, I'm talking about just its base ability. Was it Jinzo that was?
No, because Jinzo's easily gotten rid of if you don't have his other cards.
Okay,
he's immune
it's a different one.
Like all he is immune to traps.
Okay, no, it's not Jinzo. Sorry.
And then he has like a like he's immune to traps and it makes it where traps can't be played. But then what you do is put the helmet on him, which stops magic cards, and basically all you have to do is deal with the monsters people throw out.
Yeah. No, he's not the one that I was talking about. There's a card where you can play it down, and what it is you summon it, and then at the end of the turn, it goes back to your hand. Well, the thing is because of the way that it's written on the card, the official ruling on it is even if it ends up dying and going to your graveyard, at the end of your turn, it goes back to your hand. So the only way to keep that from activating is to banish it on the other person's turn.
Right.
So like if you had that card, you'd play it down, and I'd have to banish it. Not banish it to the graveyard, but actually banish it from the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, that is insanely hard to do when it doesn't stay on the field.
My brother had a way around that. There's a card that he has because he's still playing. He recently got back into it, so he's got some of the newer cards.
Yeah.
There are cards now that are meant to keep cards on the field. If they try to leave, yada yada, they're banished or whatever.
Yeah. But the thing is I don't like it whenever you have cards where it's all like you have to have a specific card or a specific set of cards to get around it. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I mean, when it's something cheap like that. Because the thing is it didn't take a sacrifice cost to summon that card. And it had such an immense amount of attack. It was something like 24k attack.
Right.
And I'm like, so it's all like if you need to get one monster out so that way you can summon the next turn, he's gonna keep raping you as far as that goes. And it's like, wow, what the fuck? And so he'll just sit there and do that, and he can also direct attack. There's nothing saying he can't direct attack.
Right.
And yeah, it ended up getting me to quit playing the game. But with my deck, with my wall deck, Malcolm, what it was I actually had 3 Labyrinth Walls in my deck, but I also had 3 of the shield cards that you got from the McDonald's event, which were basically Labyrinth Walls, but they were technically a different card, so you could actually technically at that point, in essence, have 6 Labyrinth Walls in your deck. And I had a bunch of equip cards for him that I could go ahead and I think on one of them I was actually able to get it up to something like 8,000 defense on it. And then, of course, I had all the stuff in there to keep people from being able to banish it or hit it with magic or traps or anything like that.
You know, it's really annoying. I made that freaking piece, and then I claimed it, and then it wouldn't let me do shit with it.
Okay, then. Yeah, it sounds like your game might be glitched.
Yeah. And then I go to my equipment to try and use it, and it won't freaking let me.
But yeah, there might be something that you're missing, dude. I don't know.
Know-how on how to play this game.
Huh?
I said know-how on how to play this game.
Eh.
That could be one of the major factors.
Eh.
I mean, all I know how to do is charge and shoot.
But no, I forget what the other deck ad was. But I had another deck that was one of those pain in the ass decks where people just absolutely fucking hated going up against it.
My best deck was a warrior deck.
Oh, I had my regen deck. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is I would sit there and get my HP up to such a high level where it's all like, you're not going to be able to cause enough direct damage to me to be able to beat me. You might as well forfeit.
Yeah.
And the thing is in all my decks, I would typically have it where from any point in my deck, regardless of what cards I had, I could chain through my deck.
Yeah.
Like, I had one deck where I was actually able to burn all the cards in my deck in 8 turns.
Wow.
And utilize every single one of them. But the thing is at that point, if I did that, unless you had a very specific setup for it, because it was one of those decks that just exploited the fuck out of the rules. It actually was to the point where I could cause 12,000 damage to you in those turns.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So unless you were able to out-regen me, you weren't winning. I never took that one. I never took that one into a tournament because I'm all like, dude, if someone used a deck like that against me in a tournament, I would be absolutely livid with them.
I kind of have a card like that in Magic because I play a bit of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I played Magic the Gathering before I played Yu-Gi-Oh!
I played it after, and I got more addicted to Magic than I did Yu-Gi-Oh!
Actually, one card game I wish that had actually caught on that never did, and it sucks because it was just overshadowed by all the other ones, was Dot Hack.
Right.
Dot Hack was an absolutely fantastic card game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think their big mistake was releasing the slivers. I think that was their biggest mistake, because with slivers you were able to just ravage people. And so,
well,
it was what it was.
About that card I was gonna tell you about. What that card does is You know how you have uh, cards in Magic that allow you to basically you can play them again from the graveyard, but then you have to banish them.
Yeah.
Well, I have a card that allows me to basically play the card, pay very little mana, and then I am able to use the rest of my mana to activate all those abilities all over again. And my deck is a mill deck, and
Oh shit.
all my cards are meant to mill.
Fair enough.
So so if I get all of my cards that allow me to mill from your deck into the graveyard, and they all have that ability to be played again, then I can technically use them all on one turn and just mill your deck completely.
Yeah.
I've yet to perfect it yet, but when I finally do, people are just gonna be like, "That's banned."
Watch out for artifact decks, dude. Artifact decks
Oh,
will rip that one apart.
I got artifacts in my deck that deflect artifacts.
No. I'm talking about using the milling effect on artifacts.
Right.
I'm not. I'm saying that they'll be able to block you from being able to do that by basically designating all of their stuff as artifacts, and it'll stop your deck right in its tracks.
Right. That's why I have things that I have artifacts of my own that get rid of artifacts.
Yeah, but there's actually a way to set up an artifact deck where literally there's no way of doing that because it goes into an infinite loop. And so
Right.
at best you'll get a stalemate.
Right. I remember. Well, I'd rather have a stalemate than my constant loss record right now.
And fair enough.
Oh, I was. This is killing me not being able to do that thing.
I mean, hell, I was one of those people. I got obsessed with artifacts in that game, and you know me whenever I get obsessed with something.
Yeah.
And like it got to the point where none of my friends wanted to play.
You're very much right, Malcolm. If I actually get my deck the way I want to, it would be torture for almost anybody.
Yeah.
Literally, my downfall would be artifacts.
Yeah.
I already know that, but I'd rather lose to artifacts than constantly lose to everyone.
Well, like I actually had one deck. It was a white and green deck, and I was able to not only turn all of my cards into artifacts. Like every card that I played, every card in my deck, all of them were considered artifacts. But then I also had an artifact shield that made it to where only artifacts could destroy artifacts. But then I had a card that made it to where if you destroyed one of my artifacts, you ended up taking a certain amount of damage. I forget what it was. And there was no way of avoiding the damage. And I gained that HP.
Does that card have to remain on the field for it to work?
Nope. It actually had to be taken off of the field for it to work.
Huh.
It only worked. It only worked from the graveyard, and then I had an artifact to keep people from banishing from my graveyard.
Wow.
Hey Shadowhawk, how's it going? This is Shadowhawk, the guy that I play Arc with. He's the leader of the tribe.
Hey Shadowhawk. Which I'm trying to run it on a potato, so I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, probably not.
But if I get it to work and I actually get a decent computer, I'm planning on trying to play some.
Yeah. Yeah, no, with the tribes that we have, it's kind of intense request on it. Like, you definitely have to pull your own weight. Like me, I'm the backup builder, and I'm also the primary tamer.
Right.
Unfortunately, we
I'd have to
lost. We
figure out
lost
what
our.
I would be
Unfortunately, we
good at.
just lost our primary breeder. Which sucks. 'Cause that's
Why?
because breeding's one of those
They
things
quit?
that. Yeah. I'm not gonna go into why, but yeah.
I just want to know if they quit or if
Yeah,
like
they quit.
their computer got hacked and they're
No, they quit.
okay.
Yeah, it was
I
a
hate
thing.
when people do that to you.
Yeah,
Like I
it
really
is
hate
what
when
it
people
is.
do that to you.
It is what it is. Whatever. I mean, if it comes down to it, I can go ahead and do breeding. It's just I'll have to re-up my knowledge on it. It's been a while since I've done any level of hardcore breeding, but breeding's one of those really time-consuming things.
All right, so I will offer a little bit of knowledge on this. Do not ever trust a guy that his job is to make sure things will not fuck you over.
Huh.
Just saying.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It
Trust
sucks.
that
It sucks
he
that we
will
lost
fuck
him,
you
but
over.
we've also got several other people that are going to be coming in the tribe. In fact, we might have to split our tribe. So that'll be
Oh.
interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've never actually heard of a split tribe working because you get someone that's power hungry, you know?
Well, the thing is we're gonna go ahead, split the tribe, and then alliance, and so we'll basically be the same tribe anyway. But it's just because on the server that we have, there's a server rule of a limit of 6 people per tribe. To keep to keep to keep the situation of one tribe having 40 fucking members, and then all the other tribes only having 2 or 3 members. And there's also a server rule of 1 alliance allowed between tribes.
I'm probably gonna look up later how I could use this damn thing because I've been trying for like the past 20 minutes of this stream to try and make this damn work for my inventory. It's not working.
Yeah, you definitely need to look that up. Like if I saw what you were doing, I might be able to help, but since I'm not able to see it, it's its own thing. But
Ryu, I just figured out how to make the words disappear off the screen. 1 victory down. Oh. Silence. This is great.
But yeah, no, I miss playing Magic, but also at the same time it was like when I was playing Magic, it got to the point where it got to be a very hostile atmosphere. And I was like, yeah, I don't need this in my life right now. I've got enough hostility as it is. So
the only person that I've ever known that has ever made Magic hostile is actually there's like 2 people that I know, but the main one is I used to hang out with him. He's the same guy that started all that drama for me that I told you about.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Well, with someone with that type of personality, I can see that.
I mean, he does have a god complex. He truly believes he is a god. Did I ever tell you how I defeated his god mode?
No, not here.
It's funny though.
All right, go for it.
All I told him is I'm an atheist. I don't believe in you. You have no powers.
Yeah.
And he was just like, shit, I have nothing to defeat that with.
But I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like when I was playing Magic, like at first people were playing it, yeah, there was competitiveness there, but it wasn't a super hostile environment. But people started actually holding grudges outside of games.
Right.
And I'm like, really? You're trying to fuck me over in real life because I beat you at a fucking card game? Are you for real? Seriously?
That sounds like they need to go live in the Yu-Gi-Oh verse. We'll decide this by playing a children's card game.
Yeah, pretty much. Good God.
Should we build the wall or shouldn't we? Let's play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh God. But
God, I think Trump's decisions would go over better if he decided everything with Yu-Gi-Oh battles.
I'd never win. Well,
He'd never win, but it'd be
I
fun to
can't say that
watch.
because with Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh is the most pay-to-win card game there is. Like,
Basically,
let's be honest. It's all like if you have enough money, you can go ahead and make an absolutely undefeatable deck.
I'm all for making America Battle City.
Uh, like when it comes down to it, like that was one of the main things that got me to leave Yu-Gi-Oh was because it got to the point like we ended up getting this group of people that ended up coming in, and they were able to buy all the latest, most powerful cards, and it's
Yeah,
like, really, really. So like you have three
I
of the most overpowered card that hasn't been limited or banned yet, and you're gonna sit there and absolutely abuse them in tournaments.
what I hate is people. I hate that since I am poor, I got a deck, and what I did was I didn't just go out and straight buy a deck. I bought I bought a starter kit, and then the starter kit was a red deck. So I started out with red, and then what I did was I kind of pulled out some of the red that I figured were kind of useless,
Yeah.
and then I kind of started putting blue in there.
Oh, red and blue decks are a nightmare.
Yes, that's what my mill deck is. It's a red blue mill.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate Obsidian Flow decks.
Yeah.
Well, it's not actually an Obsidian Flow deck unless you use red, blue, and black.
I tried to venture into that, but I was just like, holy shit, this black thing is just killing me. Not to mention, I got a whole bunch of cards that literally I just choose what kind of mana I want, and I got it.
Yeah, I made a Bog deck once, and that was fun. Oh god, that was
Bog
fun.
the swamp? Is Bog basically black?
Green and black.
Okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember the other color.
Because what it is it's you sacrifice your HP to use a lot of your card's abilities.
Yeah.
But then you have the green cards that also restore you. And so
Yeah.
and then also you have the like if you have a swamp out, there's a lot of green cards out there that have Swamp Walker.
Right.
And so it allows you to directly attack your opponent and bypass all their defenses.
Right.
And so it becomes an interesting little game of cat and mouse at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice whenever you bring yourself down to like, 10 HP, and then all of a sudden you're back up a cap.
I will be honest. I will be honest though. My red blue deck that I have, it's basically a staller.
Well, yeah. I mean that's the thing about flow decks is they can either stall you or they can make you rush into that shit.
You see, that's one reason I don't do Duel Links anymore. You get these groups that are like really overpowered, and then they just come in there and just they're kind of racking up things, and the groups are not even like an official thing. They're just like, oh well, we are, in real life, and I'm just like, all right, if you're gonna be this douchebag over digital shit, I'm no.
Yeah. No, you see, and that's the thing. It's all like, because card games can already be antagonistic enough as it is, but then when you throw anonymity behind it, it's like, really? It's all like, how about this? You would not be talking like this to someone if they were right in front of you. The only reason why you're talking like this to people over a fucking card game is because you know that they're not capable at this exact moment in time of making you swallow your fucking teeth. That's the only reason why you're acting like this much of a fucking douchebag.
Right. So, do you want to go back to. I mean, we've went to card games. You want to go to board games next?
There was one board game that I really liked playing when I was young, actually called Key to the Kingdom.
I've actually heard of that. I haven't gotten to play it though.
Absolutely fantastic board game. I wish they still produced it. Basically what it was though was the board actually had this middle piece that flipped back and forth because there were two boards or worlds. And what it was if you got to one of the portals and you jumped into the portal, everyone had like 3 rolls or spins or whatever the fuck it was. That and if they didn't make it there in time, the world transferred and there was some big punishment that they had. They ended up like losing an item or something like that.
Yeah.
But holy shit, it was fucking awesome because you had to gather up these 3 artifact cards and get to this end point. But there was constantly shit in your way and all that. You know, you had different event cards and event areas and all that.
That kind of sounds like, it's not exactly like, but it kind of sounds like this game I played recently. It's I think it's like Murder on House on the Hill, on the House on the Hill or something like that.
Okay.
It's kind of like a combination of Clue, but also you have a direct mission to begin with.
Huh.
And what you're trying to figure out is where, and what you'll do is your actions will tell a story, and at the end, the person who is basically the game master will read the story out of your events and give you the ending after the game is over. It's pretty fun.
Huh.
And you start out in a house, but you don't have all the rooms. What you do to get the rooms is you get these like destiny cards or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you basically start out in a house that has no rooms. All of a sudden, there's this magical elevator that if you roll a certain number, it will take you where you need to go or not.
Wow.
So, yeah, it gets pretty elaborate. But I saw Turbattle mention Risk. I am not afraid to mention that I was so much of a nerd that I had a Lord of the Rings Risk game.
Yeah, I've never been too much of a fan of Risk, in all honesty, but I've never been a fan of real-time strategy to begin with either. And I mean, let's just be honest, real-time strategy was born from games like Risk.
Right.
You know, and I mean, I've never been much of a fan of it just because they tend to take forever.
That's why I liked Lord of the Rings version, because the Lord of the Rings version gave you special event cards that kind of kept you interested throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, but when it came down to it, like I didn't even like games like Monopoly because it would take forever. And then when I got older, and you know, I'd be in groups and we'd go ahead and start playing Monopoly. You know, there was always that couple. You know?
Yeah, I never liked playing Monopoly. For one, it taught me I have no business sense.
See, with me, it was like I would always get into these games of Monopoly where, you know, there was a couple, they were playing, and it ended up always becoming like an exchange of sexual favors between the two of them, which would make the game drag out and just become as cringe-worthy as you could get. And
you know what I would do if that happened?
Oh, the last time I played it, I decided to go ahead and end it on the sourest note I possibly could. Because she landed on my shit. I'm all like, you know, I'll let you survive it, but you gotta suck my dick in front of him.
But you gotta blow me.
And I just stood up and walked away because obviously that was gonna be a no. And if she had said yes, I probably would have knocked her teeth down her throat.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just one of those situations of, yes, this is the level of ridiculousness that I've been having to deal with for the last 2.5 fucking hours.
I I would look at them and just say, this is not that board game night. If you want to
Right.
have that board game night, go to a swingers party. You have more of an advantage on that.
Right? It's all like, come the fuck on. Just play the fucking game like it's meant to be played.
Also, I really didn't like playing Monopoly because my dad was he's one of those guys that envisions himself as a big shot, and
Oh,
this just fed his freaking ego
yeah.
until my sister started winning a lot, and then he quit playing, and then it was more fun. But still,
Yeah. Well, it was the kind of the same thing as like with my dad in chess. Like me, I absolutely love to play chess. I absolutely love to play chess. But the
I do
thing
too.
is I don't like to play chess with my dad.
Yeah,
The reason why though is because my dad, when I was young, and when I say young, I mean like 6 years old, would sit
yeah,
there and play chess with me. He wouldn't hold back. He would purposely just absolutely decimate me and then rub my nose in it and just all sorts of shit like that. And it soured me on chess for the longest fucking time. And it's like you can't be doing that with people. It's all like if you've got years upon years upon years of experience under your belt, you don't
yeah.
just thrash the person, not help them, rub their nose in it, and then expect them to ever want to play with you again.
Right.
You know?
It sounds like the same reason I don't play any kind of football game with my dad on the game systems anymore, because eventually he started realizing the only way he could beat me was by playing a football game where if I versed anybody else, I could win, because I focused on the passing game. So what I would do is pass all the way until like right before the end, and then I would run the ball to run the clock out.
Yeah.
Basically, I would just bomb touchdown after touchdown, long pass after long pass.
Oh, you'd hate going up
And
against me.
yeah, I usually do fairly decent against rushing people that rush, though. If you're a rusher,
I'm not talking about rushing. I'm one of those people. I'll sit there and I'll be all like, okay, he's playing the passing game. I'm gonna intercept.
yeah,
I'm
my
one of
dad
those.
tried that. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying I'm one of those people, and I'm actually very very good at it because, for one, I played football,
Right,
and so I have a natural feel for it that way as it is. But then also at the same time, I'm exceedingly good at timing the jumps to be able to get my
right,
person just to be, at the very least to be able to tip the ball.
right. What's horrible with that is my dad would always try to do the tip thing where he would just knock it out of the way. I would always pick the pass play where they were crossing, and then I would throw it right before the other player was going into the crossing position. And it's very hard to time sometimes because I would always play with the Dallas Cowboys because that's the offense that I knew, you know,
Yeah.
and I knew how well it worked. But what he would end up doing is he would go to tap it, and then the other guy that I actually want to get the ball would come up and grab the ball as the ball drops.
Yeah.
And then I would run for a touchdown, and he would look at me pissed. It's just like, look, you can't stop my passing game. All you can do is outscore me. And he eventually started realizing that, and that's when he started kicking my butt.
Yeah.
Like, I am very lucky when it comes to the chance mechanic of an interception versus a drop,
Yeah.
you know?
See,
And by luck.
see
Sorry.
with me it was one of those situations. Like I actually played against one of my old buddies. He also played football, and he would always try to play the passing game at first with me.
Right.
But the thing is he would notice interception after interception after interception, and then I'd just hammer him with the running game, and then every once in a while I'll throw a pass in to mix things up just to keep him guessing, to keep him honest.
Right. Right.
But the thing is I also played unconventionally because I would go ahead, start off on the quarterback, and then I would switch to one of the linemen to open up the hole, then switch to the running back, and then run the running back through the holes that you could fit a Mack truck through. that I
Right.
created. And
I can't do that. I always accidentally end up hiking the ball when I tried to do that.
so it was just one of those situations where he couldn't get his head around me playing as a lineman while on offense.
That's because I hate to say it, one of the problems with playing with those indicators is your eyes will follow the indicator.
Yeah. But I mean,
Uh,
he couldn't fathom why I would do that. I'm like, well, for one, I played as a lineman, so I know what I need to do as a lineman. The computer does not necessarily know this.
right. And I
So,
understand that. I wish I was better at it, you know?
but then me and him actually ended up getting on and playing a 2 versus 2
Right.
against some people online, and we ended up getting so many people that would just rage quit halfway through the game.
I hate when people do that.
Well, we were laughing our asses off, but also at that time in my life, I was smoking weed, and we were both high as fuck. So of course we were laughing our asses off.
Right.
But I mean, it was absolutely fantastic because the two of us worked very well together. We knew each other's play style because we played against each
Right.
other so much. What I hated though was whenever he wanted me to be a receiver. I'm like, fuck.
The
I'm like,
the thing is,
I can intercept a ball easily. I can't catch a ball
right.
worth a damn though. Yeah, it's all like when the ball's actually meant for me, Butterfingers. I, ne- almost nothing. Like unless it's a Hail Mary. Because at that point, the ball, I guess, my brain registers as the ball isn't necessarily meant for me, but I'm gonna come down
Right.
with it.
Right. Um, believe it or not, this conversation is making me want to play Madden now. I don't know why. I'm going to play Doki Doki after this, but I want to play Madden.
Uh,
I might actually plug up my PS3, which is the only system I have a football game on now, and just go at it. Because I had a career mode going, which is something if there's a career mode in any kind of sports game, I will play it because I'm just like, I make me, I dominate, and then, once you get your player up to a certain, level of greatness, I think they've actually added a mechanic because they've added in age, and I've realized this. Once you get to a certain age, your abilities, even though they're maxed out, you won't do as well.
fair enough.
So I kind of like that. I'm just like, I'm going to play until I decide to retire my character.
Yeah.
Like I was on this baseball game, and I was basically I set up my guy to be a pitcher slash home run hitter, which is unheard of.
Okay.
So he was an amazing pitcher. Uh, he won the Cy Young Award, the all the big awards except for like being a catcher.
Yeah. As I,
And it was
I was all like, please don't start running through all the different awards because with me, everyone's sitting there and saying baseball's the American pastime. It's all like, no, baseball is the American loser pastime. I hate baseball. I despise baseball. It is the only thing that is more boring to me than baseball is soccer.
what about golf?
I get more enjoyment out of watching golf than the two of those combined.
I actually get more enjoyment out of soccer than golf, to be honest. At least there's a chance of somebody, kind of sliding underneath somebody and stealing the ball. You know, to
Yeah,
me,
but
golf is on a tee, you slap it and it goes somewhere. It's like playing pool but without the table.
well, also at the same time, I played golf, so it's one of those things of like I understand the skill that's involved in it. I know that it looks simple, but if you're actually out there playing, it's not simple in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, I already know it's not simple. Me going to the driving range is almost a death sentence for anybody standing near me. So yes, I know how hard it is to play golf.
Yeah, see, the thing is like me and my grandfather when we were young, when I was young, I can't say when we were young, but when I was young, we would actually go out to the water range, to the driving
Right,
course.
right,
And I mean, we got to the point where we were sitting there and having competitions to see who could hit what distance sign.
right,
And I didn't realize that it actually took that much skill. I was just out there having fun. But
right,
but so I got really good at driving, and I was really good at putting because we set up a putting course in the front yard.
right.
But where I really shined, which actually surprised me, was actually my chip shot.
The ones that usually involve an arcing shot.
Yeah, when you're close to the green, but you need the ball to arc way up and then come down and roll.
Right, because I think the
I
thing
got
with
really good at
me,
the chip shot. That's my main thing. Because with my driving, unfortunately, I have a very pronounced hook. Oh no,
right?
not hook, but draw
Oh,
to it.
okay. Okay, I see what you mean.
So the ball heads away from where I am in relation to it. Which is fine on some courses, but there's some where you actually have to hook the thing. And when I try to force a hook, it's very pronounced.
Yeah,
But the thing is I'm usually able to somewhat counter it by powering through, so I can get it to go way out there before that takes. But if I
right,
have to hit that ball straight, it's very, very difficult for me. I'll end up lining myself up to make up for the fade, which I know costs
right,
me some distance. But the thing is I mean, I'm able to hit that ball a more than a fair distance, even with that fade, because I'm able to
right.
put a lot of power behind it. But
Uh,
I got really good at my chip shot because I would always be just a little bit away from the green. And so I got so good at the chip shot where I could blind chip shot to within inches, if not go in the hole.
that like I am amazed by people that can play golf. It's just the thing is I can't play golf and it's not enjoyable to me. It's not enjoyable to watch. In my opinion, it's like baseball. It's more fun to be in than to watch it be done.
Yeah. And
The only
that's how I feel about just about every sport. Like I can sit down and I can watch golf. I can. I don't choose to. I don't go out of
right.
my way for it. You know?
Uh, as I feel that way, I actually have a different feeling when I watch football. It's more that I get annoyed that I already know what the defensive coach is going to do because I mostly play defense, especially at certain yardages. It's just really annoying that I know what to do, and then when they pick a play that I know will not work, I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're an idiot. There they go. I told you they scored.
Yeah.
And I do the
And
same
that's one
thing
of my
with offense.
that's one of my problems with football. Like I don't watch football on that. No.
The
I
the
have that
only
same
time I
issue.
watch football is the only time I watch that is Thanksgiving.
Like me, I don't ever watch football. Like I might watch the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
if it's looking like it's going to be a good match, but I'll come into the Super Bowl like at the end of it. I don't watch the beginning part.
right.
Um, because at the beginning part it's just peacocking and that sort of thing, and they're burning out players and that sort of shit.
You know what I
Whereas at
find
the end is
funny?
where the real strife comes in, and I'm all like, okay, that's what I want to see is that aspect of the competition. Um,
There has only been one Super Bowl that has been a straight fight all the way through that I've seen in my life. And that was the Ravens and the 49ers. And then when the lights went out, I was just like, can we just call the game? Please? 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 I mean, my
yeah,
team won. The team I wanted to win won.
yeah,
And they're not my team specifically, but I always choose a team right before the Super Bowl starts, and I look at everybody. And it's like they're going to win because of this, and this is how they're going to do it. And typically, I'm right about 85% of the time.
Like with me, it's all like I'll sit there and I'll watch the first few plays of the game, and I'm all like, okay, this team's gonna win unless this happens.
Yeah,
Because usually you can tell like the mindset differentials between the teams, and like I absolutely hate watching games where it's a passing team versus a rushing team. I despise
yeah.
it. It gets so boring and so repetitive. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of scoring going on, but there's nothing happening on defense.
How are we funny? We actually just know a lot about sports. Is that what's funny? We're nerds that know sports. Oh. um, you're welcome, though, Malcolm. Um, have you? I do wonder, Ryu. Have you ever just sat there and just not even watched any games that season? Done literally nothing to keep up with anything in the whole entire game, and just been like, and you call who wins in the Super Bowl?
Yes. In fact, it happens often.
Like I do that.
Because I don't keep up
I
with
do
football.
that. Yeah, like I do that almost every year. And
like people
as
are
I
all like,
said,
well,
I
you
have
used
a
to play football. Don't you like to watch? I'm all like, no, I like to be an active participant. I liked playing
you see, I
football.
would
I never liked watching football.
I look at those people that ask me that, why don't you like to watch what you played? And I look at them and I say, because it's not me causing the damage.
Right? It's all like, I enjoyed football when I was playing it because it was allowing me to get out a lot of frustration. It was allowing me to show off skill. It was allowing me to grow as a person. It was allowing me to consistently better myself.
Right.
And me sitting on my ass and watching isn't doing anything like that for me. All it does is lead to frustration because here I am watching these motherfuckers who get paid millions upon millions of dollars to play a game bitch and whine and piss and moan about a goddamn hangnail.
I mean, the only time I literally pulled that bullcrap of how I hurt my finger is because they were literally putting me in every single play, and by the time I got back to the bench and actually got a drink of water, we were back out on the field again. And I was just like, I have asthma. The weather is changing. F all you guys. I'm sitting this one set of 4 downs out.
See, me, I never did that. I was first string offense, defense, and special teams. So basically what happened was game starts, I'm out on the field. Halftime happens, that's my rest. And then the game starts back up again, I'm out on the field, game ends. That was how it was with me. There was,
Right.
But after I injured my ankle, I think there was 6 plays that I sat out total out of that next season.
Right.
But I mean, it was just one of those situations of the reason why I sat those out was because it literally felt like my entire leg was on fire.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, I weighed 275 pounds, fair enough. But the thing is I was going up against guys that were either approaching 300 pounds or were exceeding 300 pounds, getting double teamed, and still getting past them and getting to that fucking quarterback. With an injured ankle.
Right. The only way they could stop me on offense was to either double or triple team me. Like, and it's because of the way we had our defense set up when we were playing that one year, because our defense was mostly like we had 2 linemen on the front, you know?
Yeah.
Like just 2 defensive linemen. Well, that was meant to force them to try and go into the pass or the run, whichever.
Yeah, that was if you got 2 defensive linemen, then that's forcing them into the run. If you got 3, that's trying to force them into the pass.
Well, what I was gonna say is the reason we had 2 And the reason it would be either or is because right before the snap, we would either have our linebackers charge the line and break through so the linemen could charge through. It was a weird defense. And we didn't send all the linebackers. We sent like maybe two of them, and they would steamroll the middle section, hitting the center who was usually off balance, and then they would clip the shoulder pads of the guards, and then it would cause a giant hole for us to get through. All we would have to do is throw off the one guy, you know?
Yeah.
And then eventually that started failing because, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty good at getting in there and sneaking in and getting the quarterback. What I lack is speed. I am not fast, but I am power.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing to do once I got back there, I didn't just knock the quarterback down. I would grab his arm as he went to throw and then German suplex him over my head.
See, with me, what it was when I hit the quarterback, it was a hammering hit every single time.
Right.
I'm all like, your ribs are my worst enemies, and I will show you what I do to my enemies.
Right.
And it was just hit after hit after hit, and eventually it would tire out their quarterback, so then their passing game was shit at that point. Now I know it's a running play, and now the guy's in my den.
I just mostly liked throwing the guy because most of the time whenever there was a quarterback, it was some little guy that thought he could be the big playmaker, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. They tend to get twigs for quarterbacks.
And I look at this guy and I'm just like, you look like a throwable object.
Well, you see, with me hammering them, it's all like, on the first play, every single game, the quarterback would have that pompous attitude toward him.
Right.
After that first play, all of a sudden, the pompous attitude was gone.
I basically tried to play the mind game instead of the power game. Yeah, I had power, but I used that to get through the line.
Well, I had power and I had speed. And that was the thing that always surprised them. It's all like, how does a 275-pound man close that gap that fucking fast?
I actually had a quarterback once because I don't know why he thought I was fast. I've admitted I'm not fast. But what he was doing was he wasn't backing up off the line far enough. You know?
Yeah.
Like, most quarterbacks will take the ball on a close hike and take like 2-3 steps back so they can get a good view.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was 3 times that game I sacked him. And on the 3rd time I sacked him, he's like, how do you keep materializing? Well, I'm like, for one, I don't materialize. This isn't Star Trek. For 2, you are not getting far enough. I literally gave him advice. Get farther back.
Yeah.
Because I was actually getting tired of sacking him. I'm just like, my team is dominating yours. Will you please do something?
Right? It's all like, you got to do something here. Come on, man. See,
make this make it a game.
The weak link on our team was our quarterback, and it came down to politics. The thing is the best thing that ever happened to that team was that quarterback getting injured. He broke his collarbone.
Yeah.
That was the best thing that happened to the team, because after that, all of a sudden, win. Because our secondary quarterback, by all means, should have always been our primary quarterback. Because our primary quarterback could barely throw the ball 20 fucking yards, for one. And he was inaccurate as fuck, and he always threw lame ducks.
So he was more like the quick passer that should never have tried.
Pretty much. And our secondary quarterback, he was able to bomb that thing down there 50 yards plus, accurately and in a spiral, from a tackled position.
You know it's well, I can't do it in a tackle position. That's freaking amazing. If you
Yeah,
can do that while
this
being
guy, like, while his legs were being lifted off the ground from the impact in his chest, could accurately throw that ball at the bare minimum 30 yards and hit his target. The guy
that's
was
amazing. That's a
amazing
quarterback.
as fuck.
That is
Loved
a
the guy, and he
quarterback.
was resilient.
Right. That, as I said, that's like Joe Flacco kind of resilience.
But
Because Joe Flacco gets hit all the time while he's throwing.
yeah, and the thing is that's the real test of a quarterback is can they keep the presence of mind while they're getting hit to get rid of the ball.
You see, I could actually, I have the arm for it and I have the precision for it, but I need decent blocking. Because if I have a guy come in on me, it's not that I won't throw him off. It's just that it takes me time to re-precision.
Yeah, with me, I could throw the ball. The thing is they wanted me to be a quarterback. But the thing is I was all like, you know what? I don't want that. That's way too much pressure. I don't want that. I'm out here to hit people. That's my job.
Yeah.
You know, it's all like, leave me the fuck alone. Um,
Uh, as far as the quarterback thing, I know I could go distance throws and still be accurate because have you ever thrown a football like just in play, and just thrown a football where it was a perfect spiral when it started out, turned back and faced you, perfect spiral, then turned and faced the way it was going and perfect spiraled into the person's hand?
now,
I've done that.
with me, it was always laser guided missile shot. It's all like you have to be ready for that fucking ball. I mean,
Right.
I could gently set it down into a person's hand if I needed to throw over someone, but I prefer to have the straight shot, in all honesty. But the thing is,
Yeah.
once that ball left my hand, it's all like, don't blink.
Right. I would say I could see you more as like I know you can throw distance. I'm pretty sure you
Well,
can throw
hell,
distance and
on
still.
crutches, I was able to throw 50 yards.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like you could still throw bullets, but I would, if it was me, I would use you as a not a short gain passer, but a mid gain.
Oh no, I could throw short gain as well. I had the finesse for it, and the thing is I was one of those ones that I can throw mid step in a run. I don't have to plant.
I do better on the run.
Yeah,
Like I will run. Like I told you, I need decent blocking, but literally while I'm in the pocket, I'm trying to draw the defense one way just to bring them back into my line.
yeah. But with me, like we actually did a practice where I was acting quarterback because both of our quarterbacks weren't there. And so they hiked the ball to me. No one was expecting anything other than the coaches.
Yeah.
But the thing is a couple of linemen actually broke through the offensive line, came at me, and I just basically strong armed both of them and then threw the ball.
Right.
And they just kind of looked at me like, the fuck just happened? It's like, yeah, he's our lead lineman, but he had the ball. The person with the ball doesn't do that. I'm all like, the person with the ball just did. That would have been.
I hate that. I hate when people look at quarterbacks as the frail doll that shouldn't be hit. I want to get one that just intentionally takes hits just to prove that he could do it and spin. Like people see the quarterback as avoid, avoid, avoid. They've never met a tank for a quarterback.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, that was what I liked about our secondary quarterback. Like I said, he could take hits, and he could still do his job. And I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved that about him. But the thing is what I loved most about him was he actually paid the linemen the respect that they're due. It's all like after every game, he always thanked us for protecting his ass. Like
Right.
every once in a while, some linemen are going to break through. Mistakes are made, but
Right.
the thing is he also wasn't like our primary quarterback. Our primary quarterback was bitching about having only 7 seconds to throw that
Dude, if
ball.
you take look, I told you I need my line to give me time. If you give me 7 seconds, that ball is gone in 6.
Yeah, but the thing is as a quarterback, you're supposed to be able to read the field and get rid of that ball within 4 seconds of the hike.
Right.
That is bare minimum. If you can't do that, you are a failure as a quarterback.
Right.
Unless it's like some big, huge setup play. But at that point, you also need to be able to dodge out of that pocket as soon as shit goes pear-shaped. Because it will go pear-shaped. But the thing is we ended up getting to the point where we were able to block for 10 seconds and the guy was still bitching about it.
I would look at that guy and say, if you don't get the ball off, you won't have a line.
Oh, there was one game we straight up sat there and said, you know what, fuck this. And there was one game where for I think it was the first 2 possessions, we just stood up and let the line through to plow him.
Yeah.
And the thing is everyone that, because it was a home game, everyone from our school was sitting there just kind of looking like, what the fuck? And you could see the older football players just sitting there going, oh shit. You could see that look on their face from the varsity team.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh fuck, that sucks for that quarterback, but he brought it on himself.
I would, if I was on varsity, looking down at the junior varsity, just kind of opening the door, I'm like,
not JV, that was freshman.
Oh, you were freshman?
Yeah, we were freshmen. But the thing is we had the top-rated line. Not only for freshmen, but we were also rated higher than our JV team. For line.
I'm going to be honest. I've never actually been part of a football program that basically had a freshman and then they had JV in the other one.
Yeah, no, we had freshman, then JV, then varsity. Basically what it was, with your freshman year, obviously you were freshman. Then you went up to JV for the next 2 years, and then your senior year, you were varsity unless you got bumped up. They wanted to bump me up to JV after about 2 weeks of freshman.
Right.
And my folks said no.
I would have said no myself, because these are the guys that I want to get to know, because they're all going to possibly be bumped up, and I got to make some kind of,
Well, I wouldn't have had a problem with it since it was so early. I wouldn't have had a single issue with it because it was so early. But the thing was my folks were afraid that I was going to get hurt. They ended up regretting that decision because I ended up hurting 4 of our players in practice.
You see, this is where full contact practice becomes dangerous.
But the thing is I actually would go ahead and afterward, the JV would still be practicing once we were done with our practice because we started earlier than them, but they ended later than us. I would actually go over to the JV and quote-unquote spar with them.
Right.
Because the thing is because we had one guy on our line that was actually bigger than me. His name was Alex. And the thing is the guy was big, but he had no speed whatsoever. I mean, this guy was a lumbering giant. And the thing is he did not have that killer instinct.
I would make him a center.
Oh, the thing is I did everything I could to get him to snap. I wanted to see him snap just once.
Was he a Buddhist at heart?
No, no, he was just straight up a pussy, just outright.
Oh, you see, I've met people that are just like they're a mountain of a man, but they don't just have the initial killer instinct, you know?
No, this guy didn't just not have killer instinct. This guy was afraid.
He sounds like the guy that gets pushed into it because his dad played.
No, it wasn't even that. He actually didn't even know his dad. He came from a single mom household. I think that was the real issue. But the thing is he got in there because he just wanted. He figured because he was big, he could go in and not put in the effort. But because of that,
I'm not making fun of centers. I'm not making fun of centers. I had to make that clear. I'm not making fun of centers because, yeah, they're like one of the smarter guys on the line. Sometimes you'll have other people that are smarter, but
yeah, no, this guy would not have been a good center. I can tell you that right now because here's the thing. With him being prepared for it, I was able to lift him up and throw him. The guy weighed 320 pounds. And
right.
Every single time they put him in front of me, I lifted up and threw him.
Yeah.
And he was one of my friends from grade school. And,
yeah,
and
I hate to say it, I wouldn't feel bad about it if he was not putting any effort in.
But the thing is I figured it this way. Either it was gonna be he was gonna get that killer instinct and actually learn how to fight back, learn how to use his size, or he was gonna get discouraged and stop embarrassing all the rest of us. It was one of the two. And I know that that's a very harsh way to look at it, but it's all like, look, dude, you don't get a participation trophy. That's not a thing here. It's all like, you're dragging down the team. I will either make you start hauling your own fat ass weight. And this guy was a fat ass. That's the thing. He was 320 pounds, but almost none of it was muscle.
320 pounds of insecurity.
Yeah, basically. I mean, the guy was a blubbering idiot. Loved the guy, but he was. Let's just say this.
Yeah.
Face paint ended up being a thing with him.
In order to do intimidation?
No. He went straight up fucking wannabe goth emo bullshit.
Oh.
All right.
Oh Lord. No, I don't want to talk about it. Please don't. Oh, the reason I don't is because that reminds me of the other guy that I have an issue with right now. No.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that was this guy. All right. And the thing is everyone was wondering why I was being so harsh on him, and I'm all like, because I know that if he decided to use his size, he could be an absolute asset to the team. But as it stands right now, he's nothing but a giant liability. Like, if I'm able to run through him like water, there's absolutely no reason why he should be on this team.
I'll be honest, you could probably run through me like water because I basically, after I quit doing football so much, I kind of lost my mechanics.
Yeah.
So I have no way to. I used to be able to kind of lock my feet in and still be able to move as I wanted.
Well, you see, locking your feet in is one of the worst things that you can do. You have to keep your feet mobile.
Yeah, I understand that, but you heard the other part of that, right? Like, I could lock them in, and then I would move and get around them. That was my stick.
See, with me, what it was once I had momentum going, there's no stopping it. Like, I mean, at least there's no stopping it as far as external source is concerned. And the thing is when I did that initial hit, when I went from the holster, I was one of the ones that actually practiced the holster technique.
Yeah.
But the thing is when I went from the holster, when my hand came forward, I wasn't going forward to grab. I was actually striking with my palm.
Yeah, like
I was looking at the
like
person across from me with with the utmost disdain.
right,
I'm all like, if I can do it, I will bust your armor.
right.
That
I
was
know what
how
you're
I
talking
hit
about.
every single play.
Right,
It's all like, and the thing is one of the guys that I actually went up against after the game, he ended up lifting up his jersey and actually unbuckling his armor and pulling it up, and his
yeah,
entire chest was just bruised.
right,
Like, I mean, like already starting to turn that deep black blue color.
right. He'll have trouble breathing after a while when that
But
sets in.
but the thing is because I was wondering why he stopped playing for the last quarter. You know,
Right.
I'm all like, what the fuck? It seemed like he was doing fine, but apparently he was already starting to have troubles breathing, and
Oh yeah, I could.
he showed his coach, and his coach was like, oh fuck no, and they put in the
Yeah,
new guy.
I'm gonna. I can be completely honest. If he stood for that long, you know, I could respect the guy.
Yeah, no, I fully
But
respected the guy. He was one of the ones I like like when you go by and you slap hands with him. It was all like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm going for a stinger on you. You gave me a good run for my money, and I
yeah,
loved seeing that shit.
yeah.
Yeah, Turbattle.
Like I love a
I
challenge.
just saw Turbattle said 320. Jeez, talking about Alex and how heavy he was.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that
yeah.
motherfucker was big.
If this tells you anything, I was a lineman, and I throughout my whole entire middle school to high school football career, uh, I never got over 250 to 260 pounds.
Well, just to give you an idea of me, like I was 275 pounds. It was basically
Right,
sheer muscle. I mean, I still had my little bit of a tire around my stomach. You know,
right,
lineman, it's gonna happen. But the thing
right,
is almost none of my time was spent on my arms. Almost
right.
all of it was spent on my legs. So that's where I drew my power from. And the
Uh,
thing is if I stepped into that pistol shot, oh,
right.
like
You were gonna send the
I ended
person
up
flying.
I ended up hitting this one guy on a team. And it honestly felt like I hit air. It felt like
Right,
there was no resistance, and the guy just went up and back. He went flying past the running back, and the running back froze in place.
right.
I mean, the guy became a sitting duck, and the thing is, I still had that forward momentum, and so he got hit with all of that. Except now with
Right.
275 pounds of weight behind it. And
You
I
know
was
what the
able to run in full armor. I was able to run the 100 in 11 seconds.
the only thing that ever prevented me from actually sacking the quarterback in my middle school year was
What?
um, they were constantly after the first game I played. Apparently, because uh, for some reason in middle school around here they were sharing you know a video of all the games
Yeah.
like to every single team
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
scouting videos, yeah.
Right. So after my first game, and I was getting through the line, but I wasn't getting there in time. I didn't have speed. That's one thing you notice right off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay, so what they did was after seeing my first game, almost every single team would double team me. And what they would do is, that sneaky little trick where it doesn't look like you're grabbing my shirt, but you're grabbing my shirt?
Yeah.
They taught their linemen that, and they were grabbing my shirt and throwing me, covering it up with the other guy who was hitting my shoulder to knock me over.
Ugh.
And then what they would do is they would either have the guy fall on me, or they would have him sit down on my legs and I couldn't get up.
Yeah.
So literally throughout my middle school career, I was held at bay due to a cheap trick, and
Yeah.
then it was annoying as all hell because I was so good. Like when I was playing Pee Wee football, and I don't mean like, oh well, soft hits and all that stuff. I was hitting hard during that time, and so were some of the other guys because we took it seriously.
Yeah.
When I was doing that, my last game of Pee Wee football that I did, I got 6 sacks in one game.
That's about what I averaged in high school.
The middle school recruiter, the guy that was just like, he actually, I think it was like one of the co-coaches, you know,
Yeah.
and I was so impressed. You know how you don't get to keep your jerseys
Yeah.
in Pee Wee? He's
Well,
just like,
I actually know nothing about Pee Wee. I had never played Pee Wee. My first experience was my freshman year.
okay, so in Pee Wee football, you don't get to keep your uniforms. They will take the uniforms after the last game, and they will go wash them for next year's players.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Then what happened was the middle school co-coach slash recruiter went up to my dad, said, "Your son hits hard. He hits fast. I like it. I want him. He can keep this jersey because that's going to be his number when he gets there."
Yeah. What was your number?
And 56.
Yeah, mine was 75.
Yeah, I actually ended up getting that number when it was my last year of playing football altogether. It was my freshman year of high school. I quit in high school because the coaches. It was the coaches, not to mention the politics, because politics had gotten into the high school football.
Yeah,
scene.
that's where the politics really settles in.
And what happened was our quarterback, he wasn't a bad guy. I've known him all my life, but his dad was in good with everybody else.
Yeah.
And me as a lineman who had never played as a backfielder in any way, shape, or form, offense or defense, was out throwing him in a quarterback competition.
Yeah.
And I kind of looking at them and going, really? You chose him? I would have refused it anyway, but there were like 3 other choices besides him and me. And I'm looking at these guys, and I'm looking at the one that I think should be our quarterback, and I'm just like, you're serious? You're not serious, really? And then I saw his dad, and I was just like, oh, I get what's going on.
Yeah. And that was the thing with the quarterback that we had. His parents, it wasn't that they were in good with the coaches. It was that his mom was a lawyer and his dad was a doctor. Do the math.
I hate to say it, but that does not equal good player. That equals good sponsorship.
Yeah, exactly. That they straight up made a huge donation to the school, and all of a sudden their skillless, brainless son got to be the quarterback of the team.
Like, personally, I have no problem with politics as long as the guy can actually do shit.
No, I have a complete and total issue with politics. At that point, like in sports, it needs to be meritocracy. Fuck politics. I have an issue. I have an issue with politics. Period. End of story. Especially in high school. Because the thing is it's all like, all right, if you go ahead and you play the politics game, and this person goes in, and even if they're meh at it, that means you passed up someone that might have been absolutely fantastic, that could have been scouted, gotten a full ride scholarship, and maybe even gone pro. So no, fuck that. Meritocracy all the fucking way. I earned my place on that fucking field. How did I earn my place on that field? My first game, before I was even really hitting hard, I got 9 sacks on that quarterback. My first
Yeah.
ever game played.
Yeah.
I earned my place on that team. And I got
Right.
just that much more vicious with each game as I perfected
Right.
it. And as I did my weight training. I eventually got to the point where I was up over 1,000 pounds on the leg machine.
Right.
And at that point, it's all like, it doesn't matter how heavy you are. I'm getting leverage on you, and you're done.
Definitely, yeah.
And if I can't get the leverage on you, then I'm going straight through you.
Because I hate to say it, but leg power is greatly underrated,
right?
In most people's training. I'm boxers focus on it more than any other sport I've seen besides runners.
Well, because that's where you actually draw your power. And the thing is boxing is the closest thing that you have to martial arts in modern day United States schools.
Right.
And I mean, because boxing is a martial art in and of itself. In fact, it takes quite a bit of skill because you're very limited. But the thing is you have to have that area to be able to draw that power from. The stronger your legs are, the stronger your strikes become.
Have you ever wanted to try to like do something like boxing or something like that? I did. I realized I couldn't because of how bad my asthma is.
I never wanted to do boxing. What I wanted to do was wrestling, and I ended up actually getting kicked out in the tryouts.
Really?
It wasn't for lack of skill. It was because they had me starting in the bottom position.
Right.
And as soon as they said go, I ended up spinning around, grabbing underneath of his arm, flipping him over, and fully crumpling him down. And apparently that's somehow illegal.
Well, here's the thing. They should have just explained that was illegal to you, and
but they ended up kicking me out because apparently he ended up getting his back hurt in it. And I'm like,
oh.
But they put me, and at that point I weighed 250 pounds. They put me up against a guy that weighed 220 pounds.
Right.
That was their fuck up.
That's barely within your weight class.
Yeah, it was their fuck up. I'm all like, dude, if the guy can't handle me, who doesn't know shit from Shinola when it comes to wrestling, what's going to happen when he goes up against someone who does know what they're doing? I was just able to overpower this guy completely.
This is my problem with tryouts. You know, to just start off with as tryouts. If you have people that are trying out that don't know how to do it, then isn't that your fault that he got hurt? Besides the fact that you put him barely within his weight class?
Yeah, like I said, it's their fuck up. It's all like, hey, how about, you explain what's legal, what's not legal beforehand?
Right. And they're supposed to, like, as far as I know, the way tryouts are supposed to be done for wrestling, because they do want to try and get a team together quickly, you know? But the way I know they're usually set up is the first day is an explanatory thing, and then they'll send you home with like a book of proper wrestling techniques, and then you come back maybe a week later, and then you actually have the tryouts.
Yeah, no, that's not how it worked. They literally I went there, geared up, all right, called me up, called the other guy up, that I was starting in the bottom position. I knew what the bottom position starting point was. So I'm like, okay, cool. Got into it. He got into his position. They said go, and all of a sudden I'm booted out.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I asked what was illegal about it, and they said that it was the crumple that was illegal. And I'm all like, except for the fact that I've seen that in wrestling matches. That was me mimicking what I've seen. They're all like, well, that's illegal in freshmen. It's all like, how am I supposed to know that?
Okay, you know what I would say to them? Okay, bump me out of freshman because I obviously know more advanced moves.
Oh my god, it fucking infuriated me. My coaches were there and they ended up starting laughing their asses off. Because my coaches said I shouldn't try out for the freshmen. I tried out for the
Yeah,
freshmen because I didn't know what I was doing. Apparently I
right.
knew more about what I was doing than I thought. And my coaches ended up laughing their asses off because they saw how pissed off I was about it. Because they know that I'm one of those people. I'm all like, really? I'm being punished for someone else's weakness?
I would look at it like you were being punished for doing something more advanced than what they were trying to teach that person.
Well, the thing is I'm glad it wasn't that way on the football team. Because the thing is I ended up doing what's called the swim move
Right?
on the football team. And they never taught it to us. Apparently, we weren't even supposed to know that yet. Apparently, that's a late JV and up skill that you're supposed to have, and I naturally did it without knowing it.
That's
Just because it
crazy
felt right.
because my dad, being, you know, the person that he is, he always wants you to have an advantage over everybody.
Mhm.
And not to mention, he played football. That was his main sport all the way up through high school. And so what he did was he imparted that knowledge of the swim move, the like on since he knew I wanted to mainly just do defense, you know.
Yeah,
He taught me how to get up under the armor and toss them around and stuff.
yeah.
Like, he taught me all those tricks. I didn't really use the up under the armor one because I was like, I don't want to take that and jab it into their throat. That's just, I mean, to me, that's just unfair.
It's part of the game. If they're presenting that as an opening, their fault.
Well, I understand that. If it's in mid, like, if it's wide open, I would go for it, but I would give them the chance the first time they did it because I like a challenge. I'm one of the, basically think Goku, but really fat. I want you to try and kick my ass the first time so I can make you more disappointed later when I win.
See, with me, it was that whole like, yeah, I wanted a challenge, but the thing is the more of a challenge someone brought, the harder I went, and the thing is, I started out 100%,
Right?
and then all of a sudden I'd push myself to that next limit, and then push myself beyond that limit to the next one, and then on to the
Right.
next one, and on to the next one, and then I ended up getting to the point where the teams just ended up starting out with 200-300+ pound guys on me
Right?
from the first fucking play. And so I got used
Right.
to that. And it's all like, and so then I started sparring with the JV. And in fact, there was one friend that I had that was actually on the varsity team. He was a lineman, and me and him would spar. And
Right.
the thing is I only lost to him 6 times, and then I started winning every single time. One of his buddies ended up coming up, said he wanted to spar with me because he thought that my friend was taking it easy on me. Next thing he knows, he's on his ass on the ground with the rest of the team laughing at him.
Yeah. Oh, and you know how you say you don't like baseball? Well, that's actually what I excelled in.
Well, you see, I was good at baseball, but watching it is just, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like waiting. I hate to say it, but it's like watching grass grow just to watch the cow eat it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. And then you watch the cow shit, and then you watch it decompose, and then grow into more grass, and another cow come along and eat that.
Exactly. It's just like, and the only reason I liked it is because it worked well with my asthma. The sit in between the innings where I was batting and not, I was getting re-energized. Whereas with football, it was a lot more active to the point that my lungs couldn't keep up. And I even tried doing the endurance building drills and the stamina building drills
Yeah, but there's
that I
only
was
so much you
taught.
can do with asthma on that.
Yeah, but oh my lord, I went to school in West Virginia, and it was high school my freshman year, and they only had JV and varsity. Uh, so if you didn't do well enough, you just got kicked off. Well, I did well enough to get JV, and I was praised for my swing. They wanted me for my home run swing, you know,
Yeah.
and they thought they could hone that. Well, I'm also a pretty decent pitcher. You know why they didn't make me a pitcher?
Too heavy or asthma or both?
No. The reason they didn't make me a pitcher is because I throw sidearm.
Uh,
But I later developed in a way where I could throw sidearm, three-quarters arm, and overarm and switch anytime I wanted just to mess with the batter.
see,
There was even certain pitches that I did that required certain throws, like my curveball. Well, my curveball acted like a sinker when I threw it sidearm.
yeah,
It would jut in and then
yeah.
just drop out. So you go ahead with what you were gonna say, but
Like with me, like I played minor league,
right,
when I was really young. Ended up having to quit that because I was given the choice between Boy Scouts or baseball. I chose baseball, but then I was told, no, you're doing Scouts. I was all like, then why did you give me the fucking choice? You know?
because I thought you would choose the right choice.
Yeah, that was basically it. It was like I thought you would choose what I wanted you to choose so I could live vicariously through you.
Yeah, my
But
dad tried to do that, and I stood my ground, and I ended up playing baseball.
but then in in high school, they ended up we would play softball for PE.
Right,
I got to the point where I just had to run laps because the thing is uh the first time I got up to bat, the girl pitched it, and she was actually on the softball team. She was actually the pitcher for the softball team, which is kind of unfair to begin with.
yeah,
Um, but she ended up pitching it, and fastball. It's all like you think baseball's insane. Jesus,
right.
you know.
A fast grapefruit flying at your head is
Yeah.
pretty scary.
But she ended up throwing it, thinking I wasn't going to be able to hit it, and I did my typical step forward and lower my shoulder into the ball, and I hit
Yeah.
the ball, and it was just this line drive, and she could not
Straight
get
back
out
at
of the
her.
way. She couldn't get out of the way, and it hit her straight in the face.
This is why you
ended
don't
up
play with cannonballs.
it ended up shattering her nose in 4 different places and knocked out 3 of her teeth.
Ouch. I mean, here's the thing. You should expect that anyway in a game like that.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't even a regular softball. It was one of those, softballs. It was the ball was
Okay.
actually soft, not like a typical softball. Typical softball is just as hard as a baseball. But this was one of
Oh,
those
no, it's
soft
harder.
ones. This is one of those. This was one of those soft ones that actually has some fucking give.
Right.
And so that ended up happening. So I was a little gun shy after that, because you can imagine the shitstorm that came my way.
Right. It's obviously your fault that you hit the ball that she threw at you because this is part of the game.
But the thing is then the next time I ended up getting to bat, we were playing with it was a completely different day, completely different game. We were playing with an actual softball. The girl that they had then pitched at me.
Uh-huh.
I hit the ball, and it ended up being a home run, and all of a sudden, out in the distance, we hear a car alarm. And the school got sued because the ball went plowing through the windshield of a car over a block away.
Oh my god.
And the only reason why they knew where the ball came from was because Enterprise was etched into the ball.
Right. because they have to keep track of their balls. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so the school ended up getting sued for that. And apparently there was a person sitting in the passenger seat and the glass shattered in their face.
I mean, you kind of can't. That to me, that's ridiculous. If a ball flies out of nowhere and hits something, even if it's a block away, 2 blocks away, I feel like that's nobody's fault. You can't control where the trajectory of the ball is after it leaves the bat. Well, you can,
but after that lawsuit, I wasn't allowed to play softball. So anytime we went out to play softball, I was running laps the entire time.
I would have just given you a yo-yo and said, jump up and down once in a while, you'll be fine, kid.
But it pissed me the fuck off because the thing I hated the most was long distance running. I hated it. I despised it. I'm all like, I'm a fucking dwarf. I'm a sprinter. But
you know what I really hate about gym? You know how have you ever had to give a sick note in gym to where you can't participate?
Only when I was legit sick. But
I
like no like long term thing or anything like that. The only time I ever had to give a sick note for gym was when I was hit with labyrinthitis.
Right.
And the reason why they wanted that was because I would be running and then all of a sudden just face plant straight into the ground. Like, not just regular fall, but like actually aggressively going toward the ground because I didn't know that I was going down. I thought I was trying to stand up. But my body had reversed everything and just face first straight into the ground and tumble. And so,
well,
yeah.
Well, what I was gonna reference is, you know how I told you I get sick with season changes, right?
Yeah.
Well, almost every single year of my school participation, I had a sick note of I could not participate in gym today due to, allergies that have led to breathing problems. You know what the gym teacher had us do?
What?
Laps.
Wow.
I looked at him and I'm like, I have asthma, but really I need that to just look at you right now. And he's like, I don't care, laps. And I'm like, and what was horrible was in middle school, they had this high-rise track because the way their gym is set up, the track was up above ground where up above the gymnasium where the coaches went to their office. And then it ran through the workout room that they would use for practices and stuff. And then they had a basketball court in the middle.
Okay.
Which was the gymnasium. So if I ever got tired, and I kept hoping I would never get tired near the staircase, because if I did, it was a straight shot down concrete steps. Or if I took a turn wrong, I would slide and hit my head off the metal bar. I want to get a shirt that says I survived gym class. I want to get that. I will make a killing.
See, with me, gym class was actually my favorite class. I absolutely loved PE, gym, whatever you want to fucking call it.
I loved it too. It's just I was always sick.
And the thing is I was, I would be sitting there, I'd be constantly running, and the teacher would always tell me, they'd be like, calm down, pace yourself, and I'm all like, I am pacing myself, but I'm also getting exercise. I'm like, you're supposed to get your heart rate up, right? And the thing is as soon as we ended up having those sections where, for like a week, you have like the in-class thing where you're actually doing physical education bullshit. The teacher was always like, why do you seem so angry? I'm all like, because I'm in PE class and yet I'm sitting in a classroom twiddling my fucking thumbs.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you call this PE? I'm like, you're teaching us the same stuff that we're learning in biology. You're literally teaching
You
us
know
the
what
exact
drove
same
me?
thing at the exact same time.
You you know what drove me crazy in gym when
What?
I was in school? They had you take a midterm and a final. You had to take a written midterm and a final. I'm like, I am here to run. I am here to do physical things. Why are you handing me this piece of
I am
paper
here to
and a
run, I
clipboard?
am here to jump, and I am here to watch the sexy girls run around. That is my
Well, that was
that is
mostly
my
middle.
purpose here.
That was mostly middle school for me. When I got to high school, I just didn't like anybody.
You know, it's just all like,
I
so
looked
like
around.
my purpose for being here is getting exercise and pictures for the spank bank. That's my reason for being here. Why are you having me write shit down?
Yeah, like I've never understood the reason for having a final for gym that's a piece of paper. If you want to have a final for gym, okay, kids, run this mile. We'll time you. Here you go. And I don't think that should have any effect on your grade. It should just be like, okay, did they learn the proper running technique?
Right?
You know?
See, what I loved was
The,
the like during the president test, the thing where you run back and forth across the gym and it does a little beep bullshit.
yeah,
I absolutely loved that because it always ended up being down to me and one or two other people at the end, and then they just stop the tape and say, "All right, you pass."
it, you know what's horrible? The president's test, I've only taken it once in my whole entire school life. Once. You know why that is?
Why?
I was sick every other time it came around.
Oh fuck.
You know the only reason I ended up doing it in West Virginia? Because I was on a mountain and I could breathe better. But then I started suffering from vertigo.
See,
Like I was constantly in a state of vertigo from the lack of oxygen because I lived literally directly on a mountain.
the funny thing is with me, I live in a valley,
Yeah,
but everyone else, like when they go hiking up the mountain, that sort of thing, they end up having a hard time. For some odd reason, the higher up we go, the better off I am.
I think I'm predispositioned for lower ground.
It's all
If
like
you get what I mean.
the higher up I go, it's all like everyone else is running out of steam, and me, I'm used to anaerobic exercise anyway, sprinting.
Right.
So I'm used to anaerobic exercise anyway. So having less oxygen doesn't really affect me.
You see, there's a difference for me between less oxygen and me running to the point I can't breathe. Because that's what I would have to do in order to impress the people that I was doing it for.
Nah. See me, I never did it to impress anyone. It was always me pushing myself.
Well, that to me that is pushing myself because I was pushing myself to impress somebody when I really just didn't want to be in the center of attention at all.
And with me, it's not. It was never really about impressing anyone. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Right.
Like if I did impress someone, all right, sweet. But it was always about just seeing what I could do.
Right.
And when I was in football, it was one of those things of I also really enjoyed having a situation where I didn't have to hold myself back. You know? It was like
Right.
the only time where I didn't have to hold myself back. In every other aspect of my life, I had to hold myself back.
Right. Malcolm says he tried the president exercise once.
It nearly
Oh,
felt like his heart was gonna burst out of his chest painfully. Ah, that
ouch.
sucks.
You see, when people tell, not making fun of you, Malcolm, but when people tell me that, what I hear in my mind is that part of the song in Mulan, the uh "Make a Man Out of You" thing.
Uh,
Man, I'm such a fool for cutting Jim.
Yeah, yeah. Why was I such a fool for cutting Jim? Something like that.
Yeah, I think it's man, I was such a fool for cutting Jim.
It might have been.
Something like that. I figured they put the words man in there somewhere because it's all about man.
Yeah.
What I find the funniest, what's funny about the movie Mulan, I'm just going to throw this out there. In the end, a woman did everything better first.
Yeah,
It's
but
kind
that
of
was also a
funny.
very infantilized story as well.
I know. The real Legend of Mulan is a bit different.
Oh, it's much, much darker. But so is
Yeah,
with every other Disney film.
like if I remember, Mulan did end up kind of saving China, but she didn't live to get the medal.
I don't remember, but like I know that Mulan's story was actually fairly dark. And then
And very factual because they actually found her basically.
yeah, yeah. But another story that was really fucked up was Sleeping Beauty.
Right.
And an even more fucked up one was Snow White. Because with Snow White in the actual tale,
Uh-huh.
basically the prince actually carts her off because she's actually dead, but he carts her off and ends up having sex with her dead body.
Oh, I'm thinking did you know that the I'm not sure if it was Cinderella or not, but did you know that in
The
the
sisters cut
tale,
off the parts of their feet to try to make their feet fit in.
oh, not just that, you know what they did in the end to the stepmother after they got married?
I forget.
Basically think of the same fate as the witch Maleficent. They put shoes on her to make her dance until she died.
Damn.
Yeah. They literally had her bleed out through her feet from dancing. Ryu, you can stop fapping now. It wasn't that sexy of a story.
Oh.
I wish you could have made that a little sounded like you picked up pace instead. It just sounded like you fell over a desk. Oh God.
Malcolm
That
says,
that would
I understand I didn't cut Jim, just wasn't physically fit like you guys. Well, the thing is by all standards, I've actually technically never been physically fit. In fact, going off of the tests in high school, they actually almost kicked me off of the football team for being too thin.
I have always been morbidly obese.
Because the thing is they had a hard time getting the fat readings during the thing where they test your body fat percentage, where they sit there
Yeah.
and pinch in several spots.
Yeah.
Because they got 2 readings of 0.
Oh wow.
And so I almost got kicked off the team there until I was all like, dude, all anyone has to do is look at me and they will not believe those readings.
Yeah. Someone didn't know how to do their job.
Well, no, they did know how to do their job. It was just with my legs, you couldn't get a reading on it because there wasn't enough slack in my skin.
All right, I'm gonna be honest. How is that an issue for your legs?
Well, the thing is it caused the readings to be off, and you're supposed to have 10% body fat at least, if I remember correctly. It's like 10 or 15%. According to their readings, I had 2%.
You you know
So
it's
by their
horrible.
readings, I was technically anorexic.
By their readings, you're too fit for your own good.
And so it's all like what and that's the reason why I hate those types of tests where they try to do the one size fits all, pardon the pun. But it's just like, dude, no, I'm good. In fact, I still need to lose some fucking weight. It's like I still have the
Yeah.
tire.
Like, I hate to say it, but when I was, uh, younger and more active than what I am now, the strongest, most thinnest part of me was my legs, and by thinnest, I mean like fat wise. You couldn't get a grab on me because I actually had very muscular legs.
Yeah, with me, you couldn't get a reading on my arm, couldn't get a reading on my chest, and you couldn't get a reading on my legs. The only reading that they could get was my love handles.
I was about to say, did they grab your head? I'm sorry, that's rude, but
I'm just glad that they didn't try to do a reading off the neck, because that would have thrown it off even more. Because
really,
the thing is at that the thing is at that point, the deal was for me to be in football. In football, my dad said I had to have a strong neck because he was afraid
right.
of me getting a neck injury, which is understandable in football. And so
Afraid of rolling your neck.
I got to the point where, as far as like, if you've got your head down at your chest and lifting your head up,
Yeah.
I actually lifted up one of my teammates off the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Just to give you an idea of what my neck looked like.
Right.
And
it looked like Rambo's neck.
I didn't have a neck. I had shoulders and a head.
So it's kind of like Rambo's neck in the first Rambo movie.
Pretty much. When I say I was a wall, I mean I was a fucking wall.
Right.
Is all like I looked like something out of your worst fucking nightmares. You know, it's all like I was the last person you wanted to wake up to standing over you going, this is gonna be fun. You know, I was that guy.
Right.
I was the one, you saw me walking down a dark street at night, you're all like, is that Sasquatch? But
well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of basically I'm good with the bullshit that we spun here. I think I'm pretty good at the moment.
Yeah. But
not to mention we only plan to go for an hour and it's 2 hours now.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no.
Yeah, go
Go
finish your thing and I'll
go ahead and enjoy Doki Doki. Let me know what you think of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll try.
And again, to anyone who hasn't seen it, who might be watching this later, anyone who hasn't played the game, please do play it. It is a very, very good game. Don't let the look of it mislead you. It's because the look of it is very different from the game, what the game actually is.
Like, I'm gonna be honest. When I looked at the download, I thought it was like a lesbian, two girls,
No.
dating sim thing.
It's actually based off of dating sims, but
right.
it utilizes that to kind of put you off base, and then all of a sudden it springs the trap. So
right.
No, it's
kind of like. Is it kind of like Goofy's Dream from Extremely Goofy Movie? It starts off playing the song, things that make you happy, and then all of a sudden it just deteriorates into Max killing him.
Basically. Except a little more jarring.
I mean, his son ate him. I don't know how much jarring that gets. Like, his son grew super muscular, grabbed his whole entire body, crushed him a little bit, and then ate him.
Well, the thing is, yeah, this is more jarring than that.
I'm like, it doesn't get much more jarring than a son eating his father. No,
yes,
no,
it does.
can't.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Especially if you sit there and you actually look into the back lore of the story. Like the hidden lore. There is a lot of hidden lore. You can actually watch it on YouTube videos, but don't watch it until you've actually played the game.
Right. I've
Uh,
actually been avoiding all spoilers of all types. That's why I'm barely online and Netflixing my life away.
yeah, but no, definitely play the game, dude. It's ooh, good God. And then once you get into the actual lore of it, you'll understand. Oh, you weren't part of the discussion. Before I was actually telling my tribe mates about Doki Doki. In fact, Shadow, the one that was on
Yeah.
here earlier, he's actually he's downloaded it and he's going to be playing it. But what got him to download it and play it was me sitting there and saying this that the team that made this game, they're actually releasing a
Right.
game next year. And I don't care if I have to go out onto the corner of the street and sell my asshole for a penny a pop. I will be buying that game.
I mean, I'll let you know how I feel about this. I usually don't get too into, certain games, but
Yeah, no, dude. Something tells me you're gonna like this game. At the very least.
you know how you were giving that warning earlier?
Yeah, about the if you're easily disturbed thing.
Yeah. Um, well, it's probably not a good idea for me to play this, but I'm going to play it anyway. It's not that I'm easily disturbed, it's that I'm always disturbed.
Well, if you're always disturbed, then you're used to it. Whatever.
I'm always mentally disturbed.
Yeah. But no, like honestly, like anyone who can handle the jarring nature of the game definitely should play it. I think it's something that everybody should play. It's just it's
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic, and I think it's there are so many master strokes in this game.
Right.
I haven't I haven't played a game that gets anywhere near it as far as storytelling is concerned.
Right.
Well, suck it up, Buttercup Malcolm.
Oh no, I'm easily disturbed.
But no, honestly, it's a really good game. But I can see where, like, with some people, it could actually hit really hard. Like, I
Yeah.
really can. It's definitely got some disturbing aspects to it.
Right.
So, but I mean, it's a horror game, so what do you expect? You know?
Well, I kind of feel like it's Corpse Party.
Maybe.
Then I accept the challenge.
Actually, it's funny the other day because my folks were asking me about it because they saw that I really had enjoyed something, but they didn't know about it, and so my mom asked, and I told her, "Do you remember Corpse Party?" Because we watched the animated series.
Oh yeah, that thing was a bloodbath.
Yeah, I'm all like, "Do you remember Corpse Party?" She's all like, "Yeah." I'm all like, "It's like that," and she's like, "Yeah, that's right up your alley."
I
I'm
will
like, "Gee,
bathe
thanks,
in
Mom."
their blood. It's just
But,
like I'll bathe in their blood.
but the thing is unlike Corpse Party, this doesn't have a antagonist that you necessarily continue to hate.
To be honest, the whole entire thing of Corpse Party, I never found one person I liked.
Yeah. But with this game, it's one of those things where it kind of endears you to most of the characters. There's one character that might be on the fence as far as endearing to you.
Yeah.
But the thing is the vast majority of the characters, it endears you to them, and then the fucked up shit happens.
Right.
And
So,
I think they did an excellent job as far as that's concerned.
so it's kind of like we're here to make you cry.
They're here to open up some old wounds if you have them.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say we're ending this, but you
Yep.
have to do it. So.
Yep. Yep. I'm pretty
I
good
have
too.
to go dive into the massacre. So,
All right. I'll talk to you
all
later,
right.
man. Thank
Good
you for
night,
coming
guys.
on.
Yeah, no problem. I really needed this.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone who came. If you're watching this afterwards, play not Corpse Party, but play Doki Doki Literature Club.
Also played Corpse Party because blood and guts, and you don't have to care about anybody. But play
Yeah.
this other game first.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Both games are fucking fantastic, but I think this one edges out Corpse Party.
Oh, it definitely does.
So. But yeah, all right. Talk to y'all later.
All right.